Everyone, thanks for watching. So I promised some other members of the Tai Chi Connection group on Facebook that I would post a video of what we call 6-count walking. It's one of the most basic stepping methods that we practice in our system, but it's a straight line moving forward walking pattern, so might not be very exciting, but the feature of it isn't really, again, as usual with the focus of my practice, it isn't so much about what I consider external, like the pathway that I choose to walk around the yard or around my opponent or what have you. That will be spontaneous and arise naturally if I'm aware and present. That'll just happen based on me reacting to what's going on. I don't want to practice a drill for that too much because I don't want to be inside a box when I need to respond appropriately to whatever's happening in real time. But what I do want is the body mechanic of whatever I do in that natural response, that spontaneous moment of having to respond to violent conflict. I want the body mechanics of that to be very precise, very, very, very micromanaged, and driven entirely by what I call the central axis, or the feeling of weight passing through my body instead of pressing onto my body. That feeling I label the central axis, and that's what I shift from side to side whenever I do weight shifts to achieve a 100-0 or a 70-30 or any kind of posture in the Tai Chi system. That's what I'm shifting around, that feeling of weight inside my body. And that and quas folding is pretty much all I want to happen in order to create my footwork patterns, to create my movement around in space. In that way, I ensure that the 6 harmonies are preserved at all times while I'm moving, and whether I'm moving forwards, whether I'm moving backwards, whether I'm moving sideways, swinging open like a gate, whatever kind of footwork patterns I need to do, I do them single-weighted, so the rest of my body is empty and can be used so that I'm single-weighted, right? This clears up a little bit of another concept we had in some other conversations, at least my concept of that. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the authority on what everybody's perception of single-weighted has to mean, but to me, single-weighted is about taking that central axis feeling, putting it in one place so that it's very clear. Everywhere else is empty, and I'm single-weighted. Anyhow, we're trying to preserve that feeling of single-weightedness during a walking pattern. I'll show it to you from the side, and I'll take another video from above so you can see the feet more directly. Here's 6-count walking. I'll start with my right leg forward. Actually, first things first, I'll find Wuji, distance of one of my feet between my feet, feet parallel like they're on railroad tracks. And for beginners, it can actually be really useful for this exercise to even draw railroad tracks in the sand. Part of the purpose of this footwork drill is to give us forward movement without closing that channel and ending up on a balance beam, because then you have no lateral stability anymore. So, at one end of these railroad tracks, I stand in Wuji, a natural 50-50 stance. I'll open my left toes up to a 45-degree angle off of that line. I'll step my right leg forward on its separate rail. And now I'm in something like a 70-30. I may shrink or adjust my frame a tiny bit here or there, but this concept is what I'm working with. Right leg forward, 70-30 stance. Now we can begin the 6 counts. 1 shifts back to 100. 2 turns open from the rear quad, drives the front toes off to a 45-degree line from their line. 3 axis sits forward all the way to 100. Front leg is completely full, rear leg is completely empty. 4, turn and step through. This comes from our front quad. In this case, it's my right leg right now, but the front quad folds, which turns the pelvis, the body, looking back at you, but when we hit our finished shape, nose, heart, navel, dantian, hips, rear knee, rear toes, all pointed off to that 45-degree angle line from our original line. This is 4. This front leg is still empty. 5 is to fill the front leg. And 6 is to close the front quad. So now we're facing forward again. We should find ourselves in a fairly solid 70-30 posture, still on our railroad tracks, only now we're a couple feet forward in space, and we traded which leg was forward. And show that again without talking through every single step. It's important during all of this, as with any Tai Chi movement, I should be thinking about hanging from above, relaxing and spreading the shoulders, allowing the sternum to be empty and sunk, breathing into the lower dantian, relaxing as much as possible without collapsing out of this shape at all times. When I do move, I want to feel almost as if there's a belt tied around my waist, with a rope attached to it, and somebody simply pulls me back. So let's go through that again. 1, back to 100. 2, turn open from the quad. 3, forward to 100. 4, turn and step through by closing the front quad. 5, fill that empty forward leg all the way to 70. 6, close the front quad, face forward once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go the other way so you guys can see me maybe a little bit better. Right leg forward 70-30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to take away the edges without making any of those curls disappear. String them together. So you can go as fast and as smooth as you want, as long as no steps are skipped. And at no point should we come out of principle, stop hanging and sinking, etc. So that in theory we should be able to reverse our movement easily. At any given moment we should be able to be single weighted enough that the empty parts can move in any direction spontaneously and freely. Thanks for watching.